Hey guys, Jester here. Today I'm going to be going over the Expert Set Adventure X2 Castle Amber, or in French, Castle d'Amberville. And there's a reason for the French version of the pronunciation. Oh, I made a mistake. It's called Chateau d'Amberville. My bad. Anyway, this is, like I said, an expert um, edition module from from the basic Dungeons and Dragons. This being the next level up from basic, or the B series. This is the X series. X1 was the Isle of Dread, another very good module. This one's X2. Um, I love the artwork on the front. Artwork is great. You know how I love artwork. Another really good piece there on the back. The interior. Oh, and huge spoiler alert, guys. So if you plan on playing this adventure, turn this video off now. If you plan on DMing it, then continue. Um, let's see if y'all can see this. This is the chateau right here. Okay. So, what is happening in this module basically is you are, and you can place this anywhere because this is a chateau that just comes into being. So it can be anywhere. It's not set in any specific location, even in the original basic world. You could place that anywhere in that world because it just wherever your characters are. The key is that their characters have to be sleeping, resting in the wilderness somewhere, and preferably more in the open area wilderness than in a forest or something like that. What happens is, and the module was written in 1981, and so as your characters wake up, they're surrounded by this eerie mist, and this whole module has throwbacks to a whole bunch of different things, being it literary or movies or whatever. I don't know if that's intentional or not. Like for instance, the mist thing. I'm not sure when the the book and or movie The Mist came out. It might have been after 1981, might have been prior to 81. I really don't know. But if you've ever seen or read that, it starts off, this module starts off just like that. Again, they wake up, they're surrounded by this mist, this fog, and one of their horses gets loose and runs out into the fog because they're spooked. And when the party tries to pull it back in, all they get back is their rope. Okay, so it starts off like that. They're surrounded by this mist. It's a deadly mist, so they got to figure out what to do next. And it just so happens there's this chateau in the midst of the mist. It's currently not covered by the mist, but the mist is slowly making its way to the chateau. So that encourages the party to make their way into the chateau. Now, once there, they encounter a whole lot of weird stuff. Um, they start off with encountering these Frenchmen type people. That's the way they're dressed. These men are dressed in French clothing, and they have henchmen, bodyguards, whatever you want to call them, all around them. But they are not human. These henchmen, bodyguards, they're magical creations. Um, they're very reminiscent of a flesh golem, but they're not quite that. Um, the party is encouraged to get into the ring to face one of these creatures, a boxing ring, and they wager against whoever the person's getting in to box their champion. Um, the bodyguards are in armor, so it's like I said, it's reminiscent of a flesh golem, but not quite to that degree. Um, very cool, very cool monster there. um, and so as they make their way through in the the Frenchmen don't even really. Yeah, this is the odd part. The Frenchmen don't even question why they're here, or the fact that they're about to go wander through what appears to be their home or whatever. Okay, and so they make their way a little bit further on to this ghostly dinner. Basically, they enter this huge banquet hall, and there is these ghostly servants that come out of the kitchen bringing food to them. There's, but they only get served if they actually sit down at one of the tables. I mean, one of the chairs at the table. And then when they do so, the food that is put before them is comes to life, and they're being served like a 4, 5, 6 course meal. So they they're being served alcoholic beverages and different courses of food, and the thing here is the all of this is magical, and it has benefits or banes attached to them. Your characters are not going to know which is which, so it's basically a crapshoot, shooting gallery. What's the thing where you spin the thing and shoot the gun? Can't think of that right now, but basically, that's what your characters are up against. The benefits are very beneficial, and the banes are pretty much death. So, this is what early Dungeons and Dragons was all about. So, anyway, so you go through that, and then there's just some kind of odd things that they encounter until they get to the indoor forest. Now, the indoor forest is stocked full of literary throwbacks, or what would you call it? You're paying homage to these literary things. I don't know if everything in here is to that degree, because I did recognize quite a bit of it. There were some things that I didn't recognize as being from something else. So if you recognize this as being from something else that I say that I don't, then please let me know in the comment section, because I'm dying to know. But basically, you've got let's see. Yeah, you got what they call the Forest of Doom. Um, Basically, you've got 6 trees um, that attack the party. Now, of course, this could be tree ant type stuff, like in Lord of the Rings. Um, it doesn't really say that they're tree ants, but in any case, um, they get attacked by trees. So, um, and then you have the maiden and the unicorn. I love this piece of artwork right here. Maiden and the unicorn. Basically, what you have here is the maiden is a young gold dragon, and her companion is the unicorn. The unicorn is an actual unicorn. Um, she's got a treasure box there, and that's pretty much the encounter. It's up to the PCs on how they're to interact with these two very good beings. Um, I don't know if that's a literary thing, so feel free to make a comment if you know this to be the case. Um, then they go to the Billy Goat's Woe, and this is straight up, I believe it's from Grimm's Tales. I may be incorrect about where it is, but it's the famous goat under the bridge, and or I'm sorry, troll under the bridge, and the Billy Goat comes across the bridge and says, yeah, and the troll starts to come out there to eat him, and he tricks the troll saying he's got a bigger, fatter brother coming behind him, and so the troll lets him pass. And so that's basically how to get through this encounter without having to fight the troll, is to bluff your way through. Then you've got a croc of crocs. This is just a river filled with crocodiles. Nothing major there. I doubt that has, I mean, that's pretty generic. But then you've got the Fountain of Death. And these are, this is a fountain that has a monster inside it. And again, that's very, very generic. Nothing really literary there. And you got King Midas's acorns, and we all know the story of King Midas. Everything he touches turns to gold. Well, this is the King Midas is a squirrel. Everything he touches, which is the acorns, turns to gold. Not everything he touches, but it's the acorns that he touches. So there's all kinds of golden acorns all around. So this could be also a very off reference to the goose that laid the golden egg. Instead of a goose, you got a squirrel. Instead of golden egg, you got golden acorns. But it's the King Midas is the fact that when the squirrel touches the acorns, they turn to gold. So then you've got the Wild Hunt, and again, excellent artwork there. And anybody with ancient English Celtic background knowledge knows about the Wild Hunt, and it's a giant stag that comes out with riders, and they go on the hunt, and all of that. So there's the throwback to that. And then you've got the Flowers of Evil. And the description here is the trees around the sweeping curve are sparser than usual, and the area between the trees is filled with tall grass and giant flowers. There are 2 types of flowers. Some look like amber-colored water lilies, and the others look like white roses. The water lilies' buds are closed, while the rose buds are open. And to me, this is a throwback to Wizard of Oz, when they're about to reach the Emerald City, and they go through that big ground covered with flowers, and makes them fall asleep. Well, that's what happens here. The flowers make flowers make you fall asleep. And um, and let's see. It says even if the victim should wake up, he or she will be unable to fight back since his or her arms will be pinned. So basically, you fall asleep and then these tendrils come out and hold you to the ground, and then I'm sorry, tendrils of crabgrass hold you to the ground and inject you with a hypnotic anesthetic. Can't pronounce stuff today. Not just today. And the rose bushes are vampiric rose bushes, so you're pretty screwed if you fail your saving throw for sleep here, especially if the whole party does. TPK right there. So, so then you've got that. Now, besides the indoor garden, they've got the chapel. Now this is where the throwback is to Edgar Allan Poe and the Fall of House Usher. Okay, you've basically got brother and sister. They meet brother in the library, and he's kind of all nervous and everything. And then they start hearing the scratching sounds, and then all of a sudden, his sister, who he buried alive, has broken out of her coffin and comes rushing into the library to strangling to death. And here is the picture of that. All right. And then you've got basically got a statue, or a choir of statues. These statues themselves are singing. I don't know if this has any literary reference. I've never heard of anything like that before. So again, if you have, leave it in the comments section, please, because I'm dying to know where this might be from. And then you've got, let's see, it says, okay, we got the throne room. This is starting with the east wing. This is no longer in the chapel area. This is starting in the east wing. You got, see, the walls of this room are covered with mosaics depicting courtly scenes. The floor is polished marble. 2 thrones sit atop a raised dais. At the east end of the room, a red velvet carpet runs from the double doors to the thrones. A skeletal figure sits on each throne. The skeletons are dressed in rotting velvet. 1 skeleton holds a jeweled mace. 20 more skeletons stand on guard, 10 each along the north and south walls. Skeletons wear rusted armor and carry halberds with rusted blades. Another dozen skeletons wearing decayed court dress stand in front of the thrones. And it says, for the dungeon master, it says, these skeletons are all that remains of Henry Amber's coronation. The skeleton's bones were fused by the devastation so that they stand in rigid poses, a courtier bowing, a lady leaning sideways to gossip, and so on. The devastation resulted from the curse of Prince Stephen Amber. The prince was murdered by his brother Henry and Stephen's wife, Princess Catherine, or so they thought. So basically, that's what you've got. I don't recognize this either, but it does sound like it could very well have literary and or lore, ancient lore, attached to it. So again, if you know what this could be from, leave it in the comment section. All right. And then you've got a tiny ape in a jester's outfit that they encounter. And then they find clues that's going to take them to the second part of this adventure. And basically, in order for them to get rid of the mist that's surrounding the house and be able to escape and get back to where they are, they actually have to travel to another time and place. Um, and so where they're going to, and that's why the Castle Amber has the French name Chateau d'Amberville, is because they are going back in time, or forward in time, however you would want to perceive it, to France. And here they encounter the story of Aveyron by Clark Ashton Smith. So, and they even put in the big bibliography here credits to Clark Ashton Smith and his estate for allowing them to use his work in this module. And so you've basically got, for the whole rest of the adventure, you're going through the story of Aveyron from Clark Ashton Smith. And I'm not going to go into detail there. If you wish to know more about that, then you can either pick up the book Aveyron by Clark Ashton Smith, or if you already know about it, then you will be pleasantly surprised and enjoy this section. Once they successfully complete this this second chapter, then they are transported back outside the chateau and then back again to Edgar Allan Poe. The house starts to just crumble apart, and it's basically going. It's almost like it was already decayed and broken down and destroyed, and the mist made it magical back the way it used to be. And now that they are back in reality, then now time has caught up with it, and it just crumbles in just very rapid succession. And so, just as in the Edgar Allan Poe's Fall of House of Usher. So, anyway, that, my friends, is what X2 Castle Amber, or Chateau d'Amberville is all about. This was written by Tom Moldvay, and the artwork in here, which I wish there was evidence of who did what, but the artists are Jim Holloway, Harry Quinn, Jim Rosloff, Stephen D. Sullivan, and Errol Otis. All of them outstanding artists. I've loved all of their work throughout all of the early modules. It's their work that is just so inspiring. It's very evident, just like in the comic books of old. It's very evident when the old school guard left and the new guard came into being, because the artwork changed, both Dungeons & Dragons and in comic books, changed so drastically. And in my opinion, not to the better at all. I don't enjoy about 90% of artwork after the mid-80s, mid to late 80s. It just becomes too anime and childish, I guess, is the only thing I can come up with as far as the adults look like children in the face and the body structure, and just, I don't know, it just, not a big fan of artwork past 1990 really. Um, but these guys, love you guys, man. You're great. Um, anyway, that about wraps up today's edition, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and notification bell. Make sure you share with all your friends, because the more friends you share to, the more people get to come here and watch this channel and enjoy the same stuff you're enjoying. So don't forget, you can help me out, help this channel out. I don't have a tip jar or a Patreon account, but what I do have is this book that I wrote called the Book of Prophecies, which I am actually currently reading on my Wednesday night edition of Storytime with Jester. So if you want to catch an idea of what it's about, you can go there. But you can purchase my novel in hardback, paperback, and ebook formats. The links to each of those is posted in the About section in this channel. You can also go to my Facebook page, James Richmond Author, and there you will also, in the About section, find the same links. So if you want to help support this channel, please go there and buy one of my books. I would greatly appreciate it. So, thanks for watching, guys. And until next time, and as always,